Let's get down to business.
Hey guys, how are you? Okay, so today we have Sean Casey. This man from qualifying late 2020 in December went from early 2021 to having his own facility, his own gym, to growing to 2.2 million followers on TikTok, 311,000 on Instagram, and having multiple businesses. We're here today to pick his brain on trying to get as much tips, advice, and value we can for you as personal trainers, members of the public, and people wanting to grow their followers. All right, so stay tuned. Okay, Sean Casey, thank you very much for joining us, my friend. I have pages of questions, literally pages of questions. Let's see how much we can get through. Do you mind if we start, before we even begin with your fitness businesses, just go back a little bit to your younger years. Where did you even come up with the idea of becoming a personal trainer in the first place?
So if you asked me what my ideal career was when I was like really young, I would be like, I'm going to be a PE teacher. I just loved everything to do with health and fitness. I was like the person that done every single sport. So like boxing, rugby, like any sport, I done it. And that was always my identity. I was always someone that loved sports and loved different things like that. And then as I grew up, I started to love other things as well. Buckfast, drinking in the park. And by the time I got to 16, 17, I'd left school and went to tech. So tech's like the step before university. And I'd boxed competitively, I'd boxed at a high level, and then I quit boxing. And when I quit boxing was at tech, I was just basically partying all the time. And I was like, don't want to do anything to do with fitness. I'm going to work in IT or something, work a 9-to-5 job, drink at the weekends. That's me sorted. And then I went through them years of enjoying partying and then getting to a stage where it was having way more negatives on my life than positives. And I was like, where am I actually going? What direction am I going with this? And then I got out of shape. I was drinking all the time. I was just living from sesh to sesh. And after always being the fitness person, after always being the person whose identity
Sporty.
with fitness, sporty, that's Sean, he's in shape. Now that's Sean, he's great crack to have a drink with. He's always out. He's never going to say no. And I didn't realize that was an issue at the time. But when I take a step back, that was a major problem because my identity had completely switched as someone that loved fitness and someone that was healthy and into sports to someone that was just the reason that you hung around with him is because you know that he could hack it. Like he's not calling it quits. Like he'll be at the off license at 10 in the morning waiting for it to open. And at the time I thought I was enjoying that, but I really wasn't enjoying it looking back, and I got out of shape. And then one day I just switched. I was all like, this is not the direction that I want to go with my life. And then I didn't know I wanted to be a personal trainer, but I knew that I didn't want to be as fat as I was anymore. I wanted to get in a bit better shape. So it started off as trying to learn, right, what actually works with health and fitness here, trying loads of different things and failing at them because I wasn't getting the right information. And then once I got the right information, I was able to solve my problem. I was like, right, I can get back into shape here. I actually know what works. I'm back falling in love with fitness, falling in love with the gym. And everything that I do with business, to do with fitness, it all stems from me having a problem and then solving that problem for myself and then wanting to solve that problem for someone else. So that's how I got into, I wasn't a personal trainer when I started making videos. I started making videos because there was so much misinformation about fat loss. And I was all like, here's what actually works. Here's the principles behind fat loss. Made a YouTube video, shared it on my Facebook, which is something that no one done at the time. No one made YouTube videos in my local area. So that was a bit of a big deal. Done that. And then I just posted content for free. And then I was like, fuck, well, I may as well do this for my job. I may as well be able to charge people for this. And then done my PT qualification. And then that's from there, it's just snowballed. I don't wait around. I make sure if I'm thinking about doing something, I make sure that it's good and it's worth doing and I have value that I can provide. But people fuck around their whole lives procrastinating on things, paralysis by analysis. What if this goes wrong? If I know I have an idea, I'll jump on it. Started my coaching, built a gym in my garage. It actually built up a bit of money because I was doing online coaching and then used that money to build a gym in my garage and then start.
Before we go any further, because I just want to slow this down for the viewers watching. So correct me, you got qualified by the end of 2020.
Yeah.
And then what did you then do after that? So after you became a qualified personal trainer, did you go straight into the gym in your shed, your garage, or did you work for a club first? What did you do?
So I went straight into the gym in my garage. If there was a local gym at the time that I found that I thought that I could learn someone off or that I would go to them, but I was all like, I'm just going to go to my garage because that's what. But I think if someone's new to personal training, going into a gym a privately owned gym that you connect with the owner of it and you think that they do good work, going into that privately owned gym and working off them, even if you're younger, just asking if you can do anything for free for them, I think that's a good place to start.
100%. Or the value, the experience you gain, how coaches can double or triple in a year from their ability is huge. Okay, and so let's say you began January kind of ish last year, 2021. Did you begin online coaching at that point, or was it the gym first and a few months later you began online?
I done them both simultaneously because I had following online, and there's people. I think there's a lot to be said with getting experience in person first and then going online. A lot of people jump straight to online before they're ready, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with doing them both at the same time. So since I had people following me. And I had quite a big following at the time. I think I had over 100,000 followers. So people were messaging me looking online coaching. I was all like, they're going to get online coaching from somewhere, so I may as well give them my online coaching. So started with online coaching and then in-person coaching and done them both at the same time. But like I started off charging all the mates. I was only charging them a tenner an hour. It's like I'm trying to be the good Samaritan here. And then once you're making money online and all your mates are charging you, or you're only charging £10, you're a bit like, oh fuck, going back into the garage here. Then started taking more in-person clients for a more reasonable rate, £20-25 an hour. And then I built both the online and the in-person at the same time and continued to do them and continued for like maybe 6, 7, 8 months. And then I launched my own academy. So my online got fully booked and I still had in-person clients at the time. My online got fully booked and I had like 1,000 people applying to work with me online. And I was all like, I can't help all these people. So I launched my own online fitness academy where I help people with their goals. And it's like one-to-one coaching, only it's not one-to-one. There's no check-in. It's a group Zoom call and we're working in a group environment with each other instead. So that's what I launched. And then after that, I didn't stop in-person coaching, but I stopped taking on clients and sort of let mine trickle out because I had so much other things going on. I had the online stuff and I was getting people amazing results because if I'm working in person in the gym, I can help one person at a time. But if I'm working with my academy, I have hundreds of people with my social media posts. And the gym's extremely important, but I look at there's so much more that goes into it, in lifestyle factors, in your habits, and in your mindset and your relationship with food. So that's something that's probably my main passion is the nutrition side of things and people's relationship with food, people's relationship with exercise. So that's something that I love talking about and love. So the in-person naturally trickled out. And then I have my online one-on-one clients in my academy. And then the one-on-one clients naturally trickled out because I had all these people in the academy. So I stopped doing the one-to-one. And then I had launched the recipe books and the social circle and it's all a lot of stuff.
From that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So you actually had about 100k followers before you'd even become qualified. Let's even start there. So talk to me about your early days in social media and how you actually gone from zero to even. I know you're at 2.2 million now, which is insane. 311,000 Instagram, 2.2 on TikTok. Your first 100k you got followers. How? What did you do? Give some tips for the viewers.
So I started off on YouTube. My goal was I wanted to post on YouTube. I wanted to get 1,000 subscribers. And eventually, I wanted to maybe turn 30 of them into clients, and then I would be making 30k a year or something. So I thought, I'll just do YouTube, 1,000 subscribers is the goal. But I had a friend at the time, and he was doing TikTok. He was doing TikTok to do with like finance and making money online. So he was like, oh, you should hop on TikTok. So I was all like, I'm not hopping on TikTok. Like, come on. I'm doing YouTube. Like, TikTok's for kids. But I was like, no, you need to hop on it. So I got on TikTok and started posting the same sort of videos that I was posting on my YouTube. And at the time, I was still learning. So I learned obviously the principles of fat loss and fitness. I was teaching people about calories and giving them different recipes, but there was still so much that I didn't know. So I was just doing my best with the knowledge I had at the time. But I was quite like upfront about the fact like I'm just starting off and trying to help you with solve issues that I've had, and I think people find me quite relatable, and especially people weren't used to hearing someone with a Northern Irish accent talk and do fitness videos online. So I was probably one of the first Northern Irish people posting about fitness on TikTok, so that was like a unique selling point. But the way I got my first 100,000 followers is I just tried to help people for free and expected absolutely nothing in return. So I helped them solve problems. I give them value. And then obviously the more I learned about it, like the first 100k I still didn't know a massive amount about social media, but you have something called the consumer to creator ratio. So at the time, the consumer to creator ratio on TikTok was massively outweighed. So many people were jumping on during lockdown, but they weren't making content. So you had all these eyes on the app, but you didn't have as many people making content. So the opportunity for virality was massive. So even though I didn't know really much about social media, I was just helping people, and the videos were going viral and being seen, and then people were following me as a byproduct of that. Now it's a bit more difficult, but I do a lot better job now. I go even more viral now because I know about social media. But at the time, it was just helping people for free. I got a bit lucky that I got into TikTok at the right time, and then it just, since I was one of the first, like there's 1,000,001 different versions of me floating about online now, but I was lucky I was one of the first people in there talking about this sort of stuff on TikTok, especially where I'm from. So that helped massively. Yeah. But it was just.
So would you advise that then to, let's say, newly qualified coaches or someone who is not into social media but they want to start giving value and trying to help as many people as you can?
Yeah.
It's a good starting point.
I think giving value for free and expecting nothing in return is the best way to go about it. A lot of people are all like, I posted 2 videos and I don't have any new clients. Well, no shit. I posted for 5, 6, 7 months before I even got a client.
Really?
Like, people need to have the expectation. Like, if you do good things and not expect nothing in return, eventually good things will happen. And then you're like, well, but you're expecting good things to happen. But you're not, because if you're expecting the instant payoff, you just need to be focused on how can I provide value in this video. But far too many people just give up because someone's going to be listening to this podcast and they're going to look at me and be like, he's launched 4 businesses in 2 years, he has this, he has that, and they're going to post on social media for 2 months, and they're not going to see any feedback, they're not going to get any followers, and then they're going to be like, oh, well, this is pointless, because they have the expectation that they want followers or they want business, whereas I went into it with the expectation that I want to help people, and as a result of helping people, now I've got 4 businesses, now I've got millions of followers. But if that was my goal from the start, I wouldn't have succeeded, because I would have given up, and I would have been doing different techniques and stuff where it's all like, I'm just trying to help people, and that's why it's worked for me. But that's why I'm lucky that I didn't see anyone and was all like, right, I want what they have. I got inspiration off people. I wanted to talk the same way that they talked. I wanted to talk about the same things because they helped me with my fitness goals. But I didn't look at someone like James Smith and be like, oh, I want his businesses. I want his followings. I was like, I really like his message. I'm going to talk about similar stuff and put my own spin on it. But it wasn't like, oh, I need to be making X amount of money or have this amount of followers. So you need to genuinely want to help people, and then good things happen as a byproduct of that, not the other way around.
And to even go as simplistic as possible. So when you say helping people, it's fitness, training, advice videos, food, nutrition, recipes, mindset, all the different categories. You're just giving out basically tips, etc. Is that what you're?
And so if you talk about niches, so niche is something particular within fitness. You could say that my niche is fat loss and more nutrition based and recipe based videos, but I don't believe that it's good to tell someone you need a niche down straight away. You need to be talking specifically. You need to talk about a range of stuff and see what you enjoy talking about the most. For some people, they might look at my content and they'll be like, oh, I don't really like recipes. Don't post recipes then. I really like training. That's what you're going to talk about more. But naturally, as you start posting fitness content and talking about a wide variety of things and consuming fitness content, you will realize this is what I connect with the most. So this is what I enjoy talking about the most. And that's what you should go into and try and help people with. Like I was saying to you before, I love learning about nutrition and I love learning about people's mindset around food and helping them with their mindset, because there's so much that goes into it with a lot of people have an awful relationship with food and exercise. So the more I learned about that, I was all like, I don't want to be a coach that's just telling people, oh, everyone stick their calories, everyone do this. I want to be the coach that helps people with their mindset and be like, look, if you went over your calories on a day, there's no point punishing yourself or starving yourself the next day. And that's the stuff that I love talking about. But for someone listening, you're like, I just love talking about training. So you need to lean into where your passion lies and what you connect with the most.
Very good. General tips for someone posting, like let's say there's a complete beginner to social media watching this. Keeping videos below 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Any general basic guidelines you could give?
Not necessarily keeping, I would say having a variety in the length of your videos, because if all of your videos are below 30 seconds, no one's actually going to build a meaningful connection with you. So below 30-second videos are good and they maybe have a higher chance of virality. But the main way that you get a video to be seen by people is your ability to have people watch from the start to the end of the video. So that's the way the algorithm works. Okay. Every time you post a reel or a TikTok, your video gets shown to a small amount of people that don't follow you. Now, see in that group, you've got a minimum threshold, and the only thing the algorithm cares about is watch time. So if you meet the minimum threshold of watch time, 40% of people need to watch 60% of your video. It gets shown to the next group. But if you don't meet that minimum threshold, it doesn't get shown to anyone else.
The next group, a bigger group.
Yeah, the next group is a bigger group. And every time you get sent to a new group, the threshold gets higher and higher, and it gets harder to be seen to new people. And then eventually you're going to hit a group where it doesn't meet the threshold. That's why people be like, my video was getting 5,000, 10,000 views, and then suddenly it just died because you've failed to meet the minimum threshold for that group. And it's all about watchability. How much percent of the video have they watched? Now, on the other side of the spectrum of meeting the minimum threshold, sometimes your video is going to exceed it massively. 100% of the people watch 100% of the video, boom, goes viral straight away, gets shown to 10,000 people. So depending on how much it meets the minimum threshold by, depends on how many people it gets shown to next. So when you're thinking about that, people say, oh, it's about likes, it's about comment, it's about watch time. Now, I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but these social media apps, they want to do everything to get people to stay on the app. So they don't care if someone likes the video and scrolls past it. That's not any good for them. They want to be showing people the most addicting content. So they want to be showing people content that people are watching from the start to the end, no matter how many likes it gets. So when you're structuring your content, how can you give people a reason to stay to the end of the video? Oh, here's the biggest mistake that people make when they're trying to lose fat, and then tell them the mistake straight away. They've scrolled past because they've heard it 100 times. You need to hook them in with something that makes them need an answer. So here's the biggest mistake someone makes with X, but then you need to be able to talk around the topic, not talking shit. You need to be able to give them useful information around that topic. Right. When people do this, do that, and then give them the answer at the end. But it's all about making watchable content and thinking, do people actually have a reason to stay from the start to them? Because there's a lot of competition on social media and lots of people are posting different things. So posting watchable content, no matter the length, obviously the longer the video, the harder it is to get people to watch the full thing. But you need to post watchable content no matter how long you're posting for. And then the thing about like short form content, it's great. But then I think that you need to build a deep connection, you need to have some sort of longer form. So for me, it's a podcast. So short form content will be for growing my following and helping people, give them the basic information, but they're really learning when they're in my podcast. So don't fall into the trap of being like, I'm trying to give them, like, this is too short, I'm trying to give them all the information now. Be like, this is short, it's snappy, it's to the point, I'm trying to get watch time. But then once I get people in and following them, give them what they want, I'll give them what they need in the form of longer form content and a podcast and things like that.
Jeez, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, do you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong here. In short, someone watching this use the watchability word. It's almost like the quality of the video.
Mm-hmm.
If it's good enough, you'll go ahead of a certain bracket and it won't just be shown to your family and friends, your mates on social media. It'll go more to the masses.
Every
qualify almost to a different threshold, you go even more crazy views.
Every time it gets shown to strangers, but it gets shown to say 10 strangers straight away. And then if the video doesn't get well received by them, it dies straight away. So you might be looking like, that only got 100 views. It must not have got shown to anyone. But 10 of them views were from strangers. You just didn't meet that minimum threshold. So that's why it hasn't took off.
Did you say this algorithm has changed this year?
Yeah, so if you'll notice, right, there was always, social media platforms had different algorithms. They wanted different things. We were posting on Instagram, you wanted really high quality photos. You were posting on YouTube, you wanted different things. Twitter, different. But now we've got the stage where TikTok came along. TikTok came along and blew everything out of the water because it created this algorithm that it wasn't just shown to your friends and family. Every video you post has the chance for virality. So when people seen this and started posting content, they were like, fuck, this is mad. I'm able to grow a following on TikTok that would have took me 10 years on Instagram. So many people started making the transition over to TikTok. And then Instagram seen this, YouTube seen this, Facebook seen this. They're all like, oh, wait a minute, we're losing all these people to TikTok. We need to give them the same thing. So it's Instagram true. Reels would not exist without TikTok. YouTube Short wouldn't exist without TikTok. Facebook Reels. So all of these are just different versions of TikTok. So now you've got one algorithm for all the platforms. So while back in the day it would have been a lot of effort to grow on these multiple platforms, it's now easy to do them simultaneously, because they all want the same thing. So this has been the switch in the past 2 years. So the way in which you grow on Instagram, if you're doing a course that's 3 years old that doesn't know about Reels, it's not worth a fuck. It's not worth anything at all because Instagram doesn't even push photos anymore for the majority of people. Like if I post a Reel, it can get on average 7,000-8,000 likes. If I post a photo, 1,000 likes. And I've seen if I post a Reel, 200,000 views, a photo, 40,000. So Instagram, if you join a course and saw like, you need to make these infographics and do this and that, and you're not posting Reels, it's pointless because that's the only way to grow on social media at the minute.
There's an apology to some of these questions that are a bit basic. I'm just trying to give viewers I suppose the best tips we can. So, okay, even just continuing on this, to make these videos, as the high quality as possible. I was watching some of yours this morning, and I could see that you often have different angles, as in you're even in one clothing in one shot, and then you're finishing the sentence in a totally different way, in a total different clothing, off a different table, whatever it is. Any other general tips you can give to viewers to help with their videos, that type of thing?
Yeah, so these are all subconscious things that people often don't think about. The reason that I'm changing angles and things is because people get bored. So if you're just listening to me talking, you're like you can get bored quite quickly. But if you click on a video and it's one angle and you've got subtitles on the screen and then it's changed into a different angle and then I'm doing anything else, it's not just about what I'm saying. You're actually intrigued in the video. So subconsciously, by switching angles, having different things going on in the video, that increases the watchability of it. Another thing is subtitles. So when people have subtitles in a video, you don't have to think, when subtitles come up in a video, do you think, should I read these subtitles or should I not? No, I don't. When subtitles come up in a video, you're reading them instantly. So you're automatically reading along what's being said in the video. So by including subtitles, it increases the watchability, and it also increases the accessibility. Some people listen to their phone or watch their phone without volume on. Some people are hard of hearing, etc. So it helps them out too. But thinking about, as well as the content in your video, how can you have different things going on that's going to make it more engaging and not make it boring? Don't make boring content. Make your content funny, engaging, have different things going on.
Very good. Okay. I'm writing all these down, which is a changing scene, the subtitles. Maybe straight to the point as well. And
don't
ramble on.
Far too many people ramble on. They'll start a video with, hi guys, so today what I'm going to be talking about is something that a client scrolled past straight away. See, with this short form content, what are they getting from the video?
Straight to the point.
The most important thing that you can ask yourself before you post any social media content is, what's the viewer getting from this video? If the answer is fuck all, then it's useless. You always need to be posting something that's going to help someone. So what I always think is, could this video help someone else? Or more importantly, at the start of my journey, would this video have helped me? Would I have watched this video? So obviously all my videos, I'm posting stuff that I already know about. But if I was at the start of my journey and watching this video, would that have helped me? That's a good question to ask yourself all the time, because a lot of the time people are posting for themselves, people are posting egotistical things, and there's nothing wrong. Like, if you're looking to grow, like, I'll post the odd topless photo, but if you're looking to grow a successful PT business and all you're posting is topless photos or thirst traps, it's the same with men and women. A lot of women will post like loads of bikini photos and they'll get lots of followers, but all these followers are men, and that's not in line with their business. And the same men too, they're posting lots of photos of just themselves, and then they launch coaching and wonder why it doesn't do well, because they've got all these followers but they're not following them for the right reason. So I always think, what's the viewer getting out of this video, and is this video in line with what I want to do from a business related standpoint?
That's very good. What's the viewer getting out of this video, and is it aligned with your own business goals? Okay, brilliant. Right, the other apps, Facebook, Snapchats, all these others, are there any benefits to one to the other, or is it less now because it's all the algorithm? Anything you can share about the other apps?
So it doesn't make any sense to just be focusing on one platform. Like, say if you just posted on TikTok, you would be posting on TikTok and not growing on Instagram, not growing on Facebook, not growing on YouTube. What happens if TikTok goes down the shitter tomorrow? So the government bans it. That got banned in India or something, I think. So you need to diversify your social media. It makes no sense, if you're posting short form content, to not post it on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook Reels as well. So you're making one piece of social media content and you're recycling it to all these other places as well. Right. So this is going to help you grow on all the platforms. Now, as well as that, if you're talking more specific content like YouTube, you have long form videos as well that you can post as well as YouTube Shorts. But in terms of the most bang for your buck, the structure that I would give someone is post on TikTok 3 to 5 times a day at the start. If not everyone's going to have the time to do that, but if you can, that would be ideal.
3 to 5 times a day.
Yeah.
And anything
at all, because what I always say to people, TikTok's your testing ground. If a video isn't watchable, it's not going to get views, so it doesn't matter. No one's going to see it. Whereas every time you post on Instagram, it's going to be seen by your friends and family. So TikTok, no one's going to see these videos if they're shit. So post as many different videos as possible on TikTok, and then you can take the best performing ones and post them on Instagram, post them on YouTube. So use TikTok as your testing ground to try loads of things, because people are all like, oh, I don't know about this video, I don't want to post it. Whereas TikTok's giving you like you're posting that. You post 10 different types of videos. You're like, these two done well. And then you post 10 more trying to do similar things. Oh, them two done well. And then you're able to narrow down and see, every time I post this sort of video or structure it in this way, it's doing well. And eventually, after posting quantity, you've got the quality. Now I post once a day or twice a day, but I went through that period at the start of maybe posting.
That's not consistent. For maybe the first couple of months, you're aiming for 3 to 5 a day.
Yeah.
When you get to a certain point, you can taper it back a bit.
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable to post 5 times every day. But sometimes when you want to grow a business or social media, you have to do things that aren't sustainable at the start to get you to a stage where you can comfortably do something that is sustainable. So I posted 5 times a day. Now I know what works. I know what my audience likes. I know the types of videos that perform well. So I post 1 time a day, because every time I make a video, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm like, if I post that, it's going to do well. But at the start, I posted lots of videos that done shit, and I was all like, it done shit because I was speaking in this way. Or you're able to pinpoint things, but the more data you have, the better. If you have posted 10 videos and you're looking at them 10 videos to try and spot trends and what's done well, compared to if you posted 200 videos, it's going to be a lot more accurate, and then you can pinpoint down. So it needs to be a bit of a grind at the start to see what works.
Very good. Very good. I know if someone said, Simon, post 3 to 5 videos a day, I'd struggle to do one. Where I would even come up with ideas, but maybe by following others, you probably get the basics. You know, she does that, he does this.
Yeah.
I suppose you could recreate it.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Next, apps or tech you'd suggest for newly qualified personal trainers, long-time personal trainers, whatever it is, whether it's social media apps or whatever, fitness apps or anything to help with business.
So in terms of business help, I don't really look to apps. I look at hiring someone that's in a position that you want to be in. Okay. So that's one of the best ways that you can learn is if you hire someone that's in the position. Like if you look at someone, they're successful, they're going to feed you their knowledge. So when I first started coaching, I hired my own coach, Tony McAlevey, and he helped me massively with my business and things like that. In terms of apps that I use productivity apps for editing videos. I use Splice and I use CapCut to auto-generate the subtitles. So that's one thing at the start. I used to manually type them in, and then CapCut, it auto-generates all the subtitles and you just edit them slightly. But apart from that, there's no fancy framework. Okay. There's no systems. There's no apps that I use. Yeah. You learn from people that are in a position that you want to be in, and you consistently apply what you've learned to your own content and then condense it and make it better. So a lot of people are looking for, it's related to fitness when they join, and they're looking for what's the best supplements and things like that. You're like, your focus needs to be in your training nutrition. There's no apps or anything like that that's going to massively change you. Like I run it isn't an app. I run my own course, The Social Circle, that teaches people how to grow in social media. So obviously I think for a lot of personal trainers, if you're interested in social media, that's a good place to be, because if you look at the results, there's no one else that's pumping out results like that. It's only been going 4 months, and the amount of people that have got to hit 100k, 500k, quarter mil, like all sorts. The results are absolutely unmatched. So that's a good place to be if you are a personal trainer starting off. But it does really come down to doing the basics consistently. Okay,
I want to come back to the whole hiring someone you'd like to become almost. Let's discuss that for a minute or two. So where would someone benefit from that? Well, the learning off this person directly, what they've done, their secrets to success. Yeah. So that chap you hired, Tony, so were you getting coached from him on your online coaching business?
Yeah. I was getting coached with him as a fitness client. Okay. So I was getting coached with him as a fitness client, because that's a good position to be in if you're a fitness coach yourself, because you're able to see what way he coaches you and take the bits that you like, leave out the bits that you don't like. But since I was growing my own business at the time, as well as helping me with fitness and seeing how he coaches, he was always also helping me with business. But what's important when you're hiring a coach is you're not just going to turn into a mini version of them. Tony taught me so much, but me and Tony coach completely different. He would be a more bodybuilding, results-based, before and after sort of coach, whereas I would be more a lifestyle mindset, less extreme approach. And it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. These different approaches are suited to different people. So learn off people, but still be self-aware, still be like, just because he's in that position doesn't mean I'm going to do everything the same way.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Do you know what? Let's have a little chat about Evan, because he's a future star. He done the course in our Galway location, actually. He came to you, he joined your social circle. He went from very small amount of followers to 150,000.
150,000.
Is that correct? Tell us about himself, his journey, and how he done that.
So what I always say to people, if you come to me, I'm not going to be able to turn absolutely anyone into a social media star. But if you've got value in what you're saying, I can help you get that value to other people. So people come to me and they think it's some sort of get rich quick scheme where they're all like, oh, if I come, you're going to get me to 100,000 followers in X amount of time. No, that's not true. If you come to me, I'm going to help you get your message out to other people. If your message is shit, you're not going to grow. And it's as simple as that. And for some people, their message isn't shit, but they just haven't been doing it long enough to be able to put it across in a way that's engaging. But for Evan, when he came to me, he was he didn't really have any followers. He had like 1,000 followers. He was working in his gym. He'd opened his own gym, and he came to me because he wanted to help with growing on social media. I took one look at Evan's page, and I was like, come with me straight away, because I knew he had value, but I was all like, you have so much value, you're a likable person, but you're not structuring your videos in a way that make them watchable. You're not structuring your videos in a way that's favorable to the algorithm. So Evan came with me, and I give him my blueprint, so to speak. This is how you should structure your videos. This is how you're going to make them more watchable. This is how much I want you posting on TikTok. I want you to recycle that to Instagram. And he consistently applied it, but most importantly, he applied his own personality to it, and he's an extremely likable guy. So he blew up off that. He'd done very well on TikTok, blew up on Instagram, fully booked online. He's just launched the Daily Fitness Community, which is a version of my academy. I helped him because after building my academy, I was all like, I think that you should do something similar to this because you've got all these people that want coaching. So he done that, and he's got over 200 members in on launch. So he's fully booked online. He's got that. He's 150,000 followers. He's able to work from anywhere in the world. He's going to be coming over to Australia when I head over too. We were in Portugal recently. So this is the dream that is often sold to you, but what people don't understand is in order to get to this position, you have to put in a lot of graft.
A lot of grit, yeah.
And he didn't come to me being like, I want this amount of businesses and this amount of followers, and I want to be able to work from anywhere in the world. He came to me because he had value and he wanted to share that value with people, and that happened as a byproduct, whereas so many people get into it because they want this and they want that, whereas if you have value and you have good intentions, then good things will happen. And that's what it always feeds back to.
Let's touch on that actually, because you're spot on. Many see the Marbella laptop pictures and online coaching is this dream world stuff, and probably don't realize the graft that even your point about the 3 to 5 videos a day for people starting off. A newbie beginning online coaching, they obviously need to put in that graft at the beginning. What kind of general tips could you share with them? So 3 to 5 videos a day. Anything else you can elaborate on to help a new coach in online coaching?
Yeah, so you need to be posting consistently, and you need to be doing it for the right reasons. It's a point that I go back to, because as I said, if you're doing it because you want X amount of money, that is not a good motivator, because you're going to get pissed off when it's been 6 months, you've been posting every day and you haven't been making this money. So you need to be thinking, how can I take this one day at a time? When you wake up each day, what's the things that you need to do on a daily basis to get you to your end goal? So it's good to have goals. It's good to have goals in the business that you want to build, the money that you want to make, your following, etc. But them goals are pointless without your daily habits. The only thing that gets you to where you want to be is what you do on a daily basis. So for a new personal trainer, I would wake up every day and focus on what you have to do in that day, and then do that consistently without expecting anything in return. So obviously, you want to be posting on social media, but you also want to be helping people with their questions. You want to be in your DMs and stuff like that. And again, it's expect nothing in return. A lot of people will be like, oh, I answered that person's fitness question, and then I asked them to jump on a call to talk about coaching, and they said no. What a dick! You can't expect that. So all these good things happen as a byproduct. Now, for me personally, I was posting on social media. I put an application form, apply to work with me, and then was able to go through that application and get clients. A lot of people aren't going to have that luxury because they don't have the eyes on at the start. So you need to be like, how can you make conversations and speak to people and help people? What can you do for cheap at the start or for free at the start? Can you coach a friend or a family member? Can you get a result and post that result? And then other people might come to you as a byproduct of that. But it's going to be different for everyone depending on how fast they're growing on socials. But for a lot of people at the start, building a business off referrals and doing a good job is the best way to go about it. So you think, who do I have here that I can coach? And then you get them result. People begin to trust you, and then you go from there. But the way in which you build a business is going to be different depending on what you have access to. But I think the most important part is oftentimes people will be like, right, how do I get these new clients? How do I get this and that? Whereas if you just focused on the clients that you have and got them really good results and got them to say good things about you, you would get all these clients that you're looking for. but you always need to focus on who you've got in front of you firstly, even if it's only 2 people, even if it's only 3 people.
The referrals will come.
Yeah, exactly. Focus on them, and then good things will happen. It's the expectation thing. People want it all straight away. They want it all straight away, and things can happen fast. But if you're not intrinsically motivated by the will to help people or the want to help people, you're never going to get anywhere, because once you're doing things and you're not seeing the payoff that you want, like for me, I wasn't thinking about building these businesses, but when I was helping someone and seeing them, they dropped this amount of weight, or they got to their goals, or they helped their relationship with food, they don't feel like they're restricting themselves, that makes me feel good, and I want to continue to do that for people. That's my motivation. My motivation isn't the money or this or that. And once I've been doing that for a while, I build the business, I start to be like, right, I want to get clued into the business. Here's the goals that I have. But then it comes back, what are you doing on a daily basis? What are you doing within that business? And that's what's going to help them grow.
I love it. See the whole, feeling, like, is that what you love about the position you're in now, your own life, is the fact that you're helping coaches?
Yeah, it's the feeling of being able to help people solve a problem that I once have. And I've said that millions of times. I've said that in nearly every podcast I have, but I've had problems and I've solved them myself. And instead of keeping that information to myself, I can help people solve them, save problems, and fast track them. And it's almost like I'm solving them for the first time again when I help someone else do it. Like, what's the point in doing it for yourself and then keeping it to yourself? So every day I wake up and I'm like, well, I've helped that person grow on social media. I've helped them build a business. I've helped them with their relationship with food. I've helped them. Like, it's all about solving problems, and that's almost what I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to solving problems.
Brilliant. So I think one of the points you've made is patience is probably needed, isn't it, for newly qualified coaches?
Yeah.
It's going to take you a few months, maybe longer, to get off the ground, with this value you're giving, before you may kind of start seeing real money coming in.
Yeah. Yeah, what is it? 90% of personal trainers don't make it past their first year, 80 or 90%. Right. And it's because people get into it and it's the expectations aren't where they need to be, because they just expect the world to fall at their feet straight away. It's going to be a graft. Like, people look at what I have now, but you don't look at the fact that I started this in lockdown. I was basically making social media content all day. I wasn't going out. I wasn't socializing with people. I didn't have a life outside of it. My full life was social media. And it's only really within the past few months where I started traveling. I went to Marbella, Portugal, Croatia, started to enjoy the fruits of my labor a bit. But people will see that and think, oh, he's so lucky doing that. But I sat in my room for 2 years making TikToks every single day and done nothing else. Didn't go out, didn't drink, didn't socialize. Like, obviously, I went from drinking 3 or 4 times a day, or 3 or 4 times a day, 3 or 4 times a week, to maybe going out every 3 or 4 months when there was a special occasion on. But apart from that, every day I was waking up and doing the things that no one else wants to do, because it was a long-term gratification for me. If you always give in to what you want in the short term, you're never going to get what you want in the long term. But if you can put off that short-term gratification, that's what it was for me. Put off short-term gratification, woke up every day and done the things that I knew would benefit me in the long run, and then it paid off. But people want gratified for their actions straight away, when that's not how it works. Because you only get gratified for short-term actions straight away. You want to go out and drink, you drink. That's short-term gratification. You want to build a business, you have to do the things every day, but you don't get gratification for that. And it might be after a few months, or it might be a year, but people aren't willing to wait.
Right. I know where we're going next. I love this whole mindset word we've used. I like, actually, the beginning you brought up identity change. That was one I wrote down 2 or 3 times. Obviously, your whole world has changed since your heavy drinking days from only a few years ago to now. You're solely business focused. You've got an insane schedule each day and each week, helping people from all over the world. You used the identity change. You were late teens. Was there a flip you just made one day? I've had enough of that, and now I want this. And, it took you a couple of weeks or a couple of months to kind of evolve into this person. Talk to us about that part.
I feel like people do things because it has more positives on their lives than negative. But when you get to a situation where you're like, all I'm doing is going out and drinking, like that's all I was doing. I was living from weekend to weekend. And I feel like there's so many young people that are doing the thing because it's normal. Yeah. It's normal. It's in Ireland, it's completely normal. Like, you go out, pressured. You have a drink at the weekend. That's what you're expected to do. But I got to the stage where it was like, I'm going out and drinking every weekend, but what else am I doing? What else am I looking forward to? And if you're looking at your life and the only thing that you're looking forward to is what you're doing at the weekend with the people that you don't even hang around with when you're sober, then where are you actually going with that? You know what I mean? A lot of people think they have these amazing friend groups and that, but in reality what they have is drinking buddies. And I've got loads of friends that I used to drink with that I'm still great friends with and I love because I had other things in common with them. But some people are just drinking with people because that's the only thing that they're doing together, because that's all they have in common. And I got to this point in my life where I was like, where is this actually going? Because people don't even say it's a problem. I didn't think it was a problem, because sure, I was still at uni. I was at uni, I was successful. Doesn't matter if I was drinking 3 or 4 times a week and waiting outside the off license at 10 in the morning. I was at university. That's what I had behind. But then you have to take a step back and being like, where is this actually going? And for me, it got to a stage where I was all like, I don't want to live my full life, get to my 30s, and then regret not making the most of the opportunities that I have. Like, I always knew that I sort of wanted to work for myself, and always thought I was going to be successful. But then I had to be like, how are you going to be successful if you're drinking 3 or 4 times a week? You think this is just going to fall at your feet? And then it was just a case of, right, I need to cut this out. I need to stop doing this. And then I was lucky. Like, a lot of the time people will say, oh, they're successful because of this and that. There's always an element of luck involved. They're all like, I'm sure if there was a few different circumstances in my life, I would still be doing the exact same thing. I used to work at McDonald's. I'd still be working at McDonald's, drinking all this time. I'm not like, this is the thing. People might find this me unrelatable because I've got this, but I'm only a few other situations from being maybe in that exact same position. And I sort of figured out that I wanted to make the change, but at the same time, lockdown came along, so I couldn't go out anyway, even if I wanted to. So I was locked into it.
Nice way of putting it.
Yeah. So I was locked into lockdown. So fortune falls in your favor sometimes, and you do get lucky. But I wouldn't have, if I didn't want to make the change, I would never have made it. So that's what, like, you get lucky sometimes. But when lockdown happened, I couldn't make the change, or I couldn't continue to go out. I couldn't continue to drink, so I had to make the change. And then by doing it and seeing the payoff, and becoming addicted, like I'm completely addicted to growing my businesses, to posting on social media. I'm addicted to progression in the right direction. Like, that's the only, like, see, if you give me 2 options, I can have 5 million followers, but it's going to stay at 5 million, or I can have 0. I would take 0 all day long. I don't care about the amount of following that I have, but I always want to move in the right direction. And I just needed something else to obsess over. And it's good to have these obsessions that are healthy and that help you grow your business. People think being obsessed is bad. Anyone that's successful is obsessed in some way, shape, or form. But for me, the obsession used to be going out and partying and drinking. And then I had to switch that. You can't just stop drinking. And what are you going to do? Sit in your room all day looking at the walls, looking at people's Snapchat stories? You need to replace a bad habit with a good one. That's the only way you can break a bad habit. People ask me all the time, how did you go from, like, because people that know me, they're all like, Casey, what's the fucking crack? Like, see, before like people knew me for Instagram, they used to know me from a Snapchat story. It used to be nuts. 48 hours in a row, just the mad stories, drinking. So like, how do you go from that, like, maybe that's a position that you're in, to where you are now, where you don't even want to drink all the time, where at the minute I don't even want to drink at all. And it's just, you need to replace that with something else. You can't just stop drinking. You can't just stop a bad habit. What are you going to replace that with? And then when you replace it with something else that you enjoy so much, and then you get that gratification eventually after working at it, that's the best way to go about it.
Many watching this or looking at yourself will think, no, I can never be that. Did you have that big vision for where you wanted to go in a few years, or did it kind of just come, incrementally over the last year and a half?
No, if someone told you, like, at the minute, I've got millions of followers, 4 businesses, I wake up every day, I do something that I love. If you told me 3 years ago, when I was sitting in the Holy Lands on a bender, in 3 years, you're going to be here, I would have looked at you like you're fucking crazy. When I started, all I wanted to do was help people, as I said. I had a rough estimate in my head. I was all like, if I can get X amount of clients over X amount of time, pay me this much, I'll make 30 grand a year. That's what my goal was. And I was all like, 30 grand a year is like, that's a reasonable income. That's what a lot of like teachers and stuff like that and graduate jobs are on, maybe not even. So I was all like, if I can do that, I'll be successful. But when I started, I was all like, whoa. There's a lot more opportunity here than just coaching X amount of clients and I'm making 30 grand a year. So once I seen the opportunity, I went after it. And I didn't think I want 4 businesses. I thought I want to become fully booked online. And then I thought I want to launch the academy. And then I want the next 1,000 followers in the next. So I didn't think about the big picture and think that I'm going to have a fucking social media business. A social media business? Are you mad? Yeah. I didn't even know what social media was properly or how to grow on it a few years ago. And now I've got a full business with hundreds of people in it. So it wasn't like I had this big goal at the start. I see opportunity in places, and as soon as I see an opportunity, I take it. Like with the social circle, I was all like, no one knows really about social media. The people that I'm listening to that are meant to be the experts on it are getting stuff wrong. So I was all, there's a massive opportunity here, and people are dying out to learn how social media works. So I take it and I go with it. So it wasn't at the start as all like, I'm going to have all these different businesses, but as soon as I see an opportunity, I'm going after it. And then as a byproduct of that, I'm just sitting here with all of this now.
Yeah. But then, as you said, you have to take it day by day.
Yeah.
Be the very best you can that day and be the best for your clients, and sometimes opportunities will emerge. Okay, your own self-development. I know you've only bloody in the industry now, 2 years, but your own self-development. Any tips you can share with people? We only spoke about this earlier. You're reading self-help books? Are you listening to anyone online? Or tell us about this.
Yeah.
How have you gotten to this point?
So one thing I always say to people is I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And it's good to learn from your mistakes, but it's even better to learn from other people's mistakes. So I've only been in the industry a couple of years, but now you have accessibility to all of these people that have been in the industry for 15, 20 years. And these people are talking about on podcasts the mistakes that they made in the first few years. So instead of having to go through at the start and make the mistakes of telling all your clients that everyone needs to intermittent fast or everyone needs to track calories or do one particular method, you can learn from the mistakes of other people first. So I listen to podcasts every day. Jordan Sad is someone that I've learned a lot from. There is the Sigma Nutrition podcast. Oh, yeah. There's loads of different things like that. And I would do live streams. And at the start, I admitted to the fact that I was still learning. I done a live stream basically every day. Anytime someone asked me a question that I didn't know the answer to, I would go and find out. So podcasts are where I do my learning from. I love podcasts. Now, don't get me wrong, I've read fitness books and things like that, but I'm an audio learner. I love going for a walk every morning and listen to a podcast. And you don't have any, like, whereas back in the day, people would have took 10 years to get the knowledge, but now you can get it in a couple of years. I've got 80 podcast episodes. It's all about fitness. I would like to think that my knowledge is, and I have to think that my knowledge is up to scratch because I run an online academy with hundreds of people in it. So I think learning from the mistakes of other people through podcasts and their social media posts, like social media can be an awful place to get misinformed. But if you're following the right sort of people that are evidence-based, like you need to know that someone's evidence-based and they use the research and they have whatever. But if you're following the right sort of people, it can be a great source of information. Like one of the guys I've had on my podcast, Ben Carpenter, he makes amazing reels, like on Instagram reels, where he breaks down all the studies and different things like that. So social media can be a good place to do your learning. But then I always think it falls back to investing in yourself as well. Like I hired my coach, Tony, and that's someone that I done a lot of learning because you can do the learning online, but sometimes you're going to have direct questions that it's best placed if you can ask someone if you can ask someone them questions to get their viewpoint, because if you're doing research, different people have different opinions. So it's good to have someone that you can ask as well. But for me personally, in terms of my learning and self-development, I read books at the start, but most of it has come from podcasts. Even the way I'm able to speak and stuff, it just comes from listening to other people do it because that's my method of learning, but it's going to be different for everyone. So I would say listen to podcasts. I would say when you're listening to podcasts, listen to them a couple of times, take notes, and then invest in yourself with courses or people that you connect with.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to flip the switch here for a second and actually talk about something a little bit negative on social media, but do you find it's, for some, they can just get completely addicted? And, you know, there's no breakaway from it at all, and then it's almost counterproductive in their lives. Do you have any little systems or tips you share there to switch off at times? Yeah,
so the thing with social media is that, like I was talking about at the start, you need to be able to make your videos watchable because that's what the algorithm wants. It wants watchable videos, but at the same time, you're getting them watchable videos too. And you can find yourself constantly scrolling and things like that. And I'm not going to sit here and lecture people and pretend that I'm some sort of someone that only works on my phone and never. Because I like, even though I've got all these businesses, there's days where I'm unproductive and can easily get trapped into just being on my phone and scrolling from video to video to video. But I think in terms of productivity, it's important to, instead of waking up and being like, I'm going to work today, that's not realistic. I'm just going to work all day. I'm not going to go on my phone. You need to set yourself time blocks so you're going to work. So you're like, right, it's all scheduled out. I'm going to do half an hour here at work, and then I'll have a 10-minute break. I'll go for a walk. I can check my phone because, say, just send to someone, if you want to grow a successful business, stop consuming content, only make content. That's bullshit. You're going to consume content, but you just need to do it in a structured way. And if you haven't organized your days and pre-planned them, if you're waking up just winging it, being like, I have this to do, that to do, and that to do, you wake up, you don't have specific times in them. So say if you have 3 things to do, you wake up and then you're thinking, oh, what's the first thing I should do? You're scrolling on your phone. Whereas if you pre-plan your day, 3 things to do.
So you suggest that and times.
Put times and places and things, right? See, I even say this to fitness clients. If you say, right, I want to go for a walk and go to the gym the next day, but you've got work and stuff like that, you wake up, you go to work, you get home from work, you're stressed out, you get something to eat, blah, 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 you're talking to people, you're doing this and that. Next thing you know, the day's passed you by and you haven't got to the gym, you haven't got for a walk. But see, the night before, if you're like, right, I'm leaving the kids to school at this time, I'm in work at this time, I have this on at this time, then you're left when you actually have free time, and you can put times and places on when you're going to do these different activities. So when it comes to 5 o'clock, you get a reminder on your phone, you get triggered, oh, I'm meant to be doing this now. But if you're just waking up, and it's the same with social media content and business, being like, this is all the things that I have to do, put times and places on things and it'll literally change your life, because days pass you by without you noticing, but you need a trigger. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. I actually do have free time now. I need to get off my phone and do this. Right. Times and places. And it's the simple things. Times and places that help massively.
Yeah, organisation. Okay. So the final 2 things for myself. A lot of this we've discussed already, but any kind of your sort of secrets to success as an online coach and everything else, anything we can share with the viewers watching this, upcoming personal trainers?
The people are always, and that's what people are sold into. They're sold the dream, and they're sold that there's these different secrets and stuff, and this mastermind has all the answers. I run the social circle. There's no necessarily secrets in it that's going to help you massively grow your business. I can help you get your content out to people and get seen by people, but the secret is consistently doing things. But at the same time, if you're consistently doing the wrong things, you're not going to grow and you're not going to build a successful business. So consistency is the most important thing. But after that, what are you consistently doing? Are you consistently focusing on short form content? Are you consistently posting different infographics and stuff that aren't even being pushed by the algorithm? Are you consistently posting the wrong sort of content? So you need to be consistently posting short form content that's watchable. You can join the Social Circle free course. I have a completely free social media course to give you a bit of a taster. So if you watch that, that'll give you a good idea of what you should be doing on your social media. But then it's just your daily habits. What are you doing each day to help get you moving in the right direction? But there's no secret. There's no mad switch. It's like your daily habits and doing the boring things every single day. No one builds a business from one thing or one secret, so to speak. The only way anyone builds a business or builds anything is by what they do on a daily basis. And the things that they do on a daily basis are boring as fuck. Yeah. Wake up, reply to your DMs, make a bit of social media content, reply to your clients, help them get the results, listen to a podcast, self-development, boring. But all of these boring things add up. And they shouldn't even be boring. Like, listen to podcasts shouldn't be boring if you're a personal trainer. You should love that. Replying to your clients shouldn't technically be boring. Boring isn't the right word. It's more simple things. You should love doing them, but it is the simple things that add up, and there's no one thing. There's no one, like, nothing even stands out to me. This is the one thing that I done, because it's the multiple things on a daily basis.
Yeah. Would you be quite disciplined, would you say?
Yeah, I would say I'm disciplined enough, but the discipline for me comes from the enjoyment of, like, every day, like, someone might not be suited to being an online coach because they might like working an office job, they're being told what to do, etc. It might be absolutely torture if they're waking up every day with no structure, not being told what to do. But for me, I wake up every day and I enjoy what I'm doing. I love the fact that I can get up in the morning and go for a walk, listen to a podcast, come back, make a bit of social media content. I love the social media content creation phases. Making the idea, editing it, bring it to life. I'm like, this is fucking class. But for someone else, they would need a lot more discipline to do that, because they were like, oh, making a social media post today, oh, couldn't be bothered. But for me, it's something that I love doing. And you don't necessarily need a massive social media following to grow a business. Obviously, it helps and gives you opportunities. But there's some people that don't enjoy social media posting, and it's just going to drain them every day. Whereas for me, it's not like, again, and this is something that I could say that I'm lucky to be successful, because I don't need motivation, I don't need discipline, because I wake up every day and do things that I would do for free anyway. Like, I've got 4 businesses, and you might think, oh, he's so business focused. I'm like, I do all this for free. I help people with their social media. I help people with fat loss for free before I made the businesses. Just through doing that for free, I've got businesses off it. So for me, you don't need as much discipline if you can wake up every day excited to do something. And if you're a personal trainer and you're not excited to help your clients, find a new job. Because obviously there's going to be some days where you're like, oh, I can be fucked. But, like, for the most part, this should be something that you love, and it should be something that you love learning about and talking about. So the idea that you need motivation all the time, like there's going to be some times where you have to put off short-term gratification, but it should be a rewarding thing, and for me it is a rewarding thing. So there's less discipline and motivation required. But if someone looked from the outside in, they'd be, he's disciplined as fuck. He's when I have something on, like I'm not working 12 hours a day every day, but if I've got a lunch, I'm working from morning to night. I'm making social media content. I'm doing different things, going to meetings and having calls, but I love doing that. But from the outside in, it might seem discipline, but when you find something that you love, it's less discipline's required.
Brilliant. Brilliant, Sean. That was fantastic, because I had a good feeling it would be. That was really good, and hopefully the viewers got value. You were literally straight to the point. There's no bullshit there. Graft, discipline, and all that stuff is, it's crucial. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. So, Jen, thank you. Cheers.